on. Okay. Great. Okay. All right. Excellent. So, okay. Let's see. All right. Well, let's get started. So D and CB, thanks for joining us. We're going to walk through introductions of yourself here in just a moment. But our topic today is how frontline managers use LevelEleven. So the both of you, are right on the front lines of your own sales organizations. You're part of larger organizations who are using LevelEleven. We really wanted to use this time to dig in a little bit more to your individual scenarios, and then talk about and have us if you can tell us like how you're using LevelEleven day to day. So with that, why don't we? So my background, I think, as folks know, is all in sales and sales management. I spent my career in this, and I kind of have learned all the different stages of development of the sales organization, from the very early stages when you're just trying to figure out anything and try everything you can, to as you try to scale the organization where you've got several frontline managers and 100+ salespeople. Like, what do you do to bring consistency and structure to how you can really scale an organization? So also I've been really fortunate to get to know folks like D and CB here on the phone, to see how many different companies run their sales organizations, and we're doing what we can to inject those ideas across all of our customers. So let's actually, D, let's go over to you first. So first of all, again, thank you for joining here. But why don't you just do a quick introduction for yourself, and tell us a little bit about your kind of career background and how you became a manager to what you're doing here at Hewlett-Packard Enterprise.
All right, so yeah, my name's Dee Taylor. I am the Inside Sales District Manager here at Hewlett-Packard Enterprise. I do cover the Department of Defense, the advanced programs, so your intelligence agencies, as well as I do now cover the civilian agencies as well for the federal government. I think my first experience in dealing with leadership and management goes back to my days in the Navy. I spent 11 years in the Navy. Most of it was on destroyers. Probably around the age of 23 is when I became a work center supervisor, and I was in charge of my own work center of about 3 people. And you fast forward into about another, I'd say 2.5 years after that, I'm now a first-class petty officer, and I'm in charge of an entire division of 18 sailors, and multi-million-dollar equipment, weapon systems, radar systems. After that, it was time for me to rotate into a shore position, and during that time frame of 2003 to 2006, I actually volunteered to go into recruiting, and that's how I ended up in Texas. When I was a recruiter, it was my first real exposure into sales and talking to people and developing relationships with them and gaining trust, and that's where I kind of found my niche. Not only as a manager, because I was in charge of a station of sailors and we had a quota to meet, but that's where I found my niche as being in sales. I did that for about 3.5, almost 4 years, and I made the decision to leave the Navy, and then I became a civilian. So instead of being a people leader, I then got into the role of being an individual contributor, and I was doing personal credit consulting, which was kind of neat because I was only accountable for myself, and it was a neat change in being able to acclimate to the civilian culture. After a few years, I just kind of figured I really did like being a people leader, and I went to school. I ended up working on my degree and obtained my degree from the University of Texas at Dallas. And when I got there, the counselor told me, well, Dee, you've been in sales for quite some time. We have a sales program here at this school. You need electives. Why don't you get into that? And I thought to myself, you know what? That sounds like a great idea. It was really cool because it brought me back down to the basic fundamentals of sales. It was almost trying to deprogram me, but rebuild me back. And I think everybody needs that once in a while. So I took the intro and the advanced class. I did very well in it, and that's where I caught the eye of Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, and they actually recruited me to come here to Plano and become the district manager for the Department of Defense. So that's that's how I've spanned probably about 15 plus years of management and sales, and where I'm at today.
Okay, got it. That's great. Well, great story, and always fascinating when people come up through the ranks like you did there. So That's very cool. So tell us a little bit about the so Hewlett Packard Enterprise. I think pretty much anybody who's listened to this has certainly heard of the company. But tell us a little more about across the organization. What's the general makeup of the sales team? You know, different roles, number of people, et cetera, and then kind of take us, you know, zoom in on your group in particular that you're managing there.
Okay, so basic overview of the company. A lot of people, when I told them, hey, I landed this awesome job at Hewlett Packard Enterprise, they're like, oh, hey, I've got a printer, or hey, that's like my laptop. And I'm like, no, well, the company kind of split in two. You've got that side. I'm on the side that handles all the back end stuff. So the servers and the data storage and the Wi-Fi is what we cover here on the enterprise side. I just happen to cater to the government with my inside sales team. The way the strategy for the company, as high level as I'm going to get it, is three simple things for the company. We are here to make your IT simple, make it hybrid, whether you want to keep your data center on-premise or off-premise, or a combination of the both in the cloud. We also are here, our other strategy is to power the intelligent edge, Wi-Fi. Everything in our home is a smart something or other in our house or in our hand. So we're here to help power that and collect that data to make our life a lot easier. And finally, with all of these back-end services and the back-end data center, all the services needed for it in terms of U.S. soil support, in the terms of warranty, in the terms of consulting or installation, that's the high-level strategy for the company. I myself tell the strategy to my team is, hey, we are federal and the Department of Defense or advanced programs or civilian agencies. We are the technological backbone of our nation's defense. And I like putting it that way because I was the end user on the other end being stationed on a ship in the middle of the ocean. So it really brings it back home to me and puts the importance of what we do to my team. My team is, well, let's just start with the whole makeup of the inside sales floor. I would say it's between 320 and 350 people. We are segmented into different verticals. So we've got small, medium business. We have commercial and enterprise. We've got the state and local and education. And then last but not least, we've got federal. And that's my favorite part of it is federal. On my team, I've got approximately 22 individuals that work for me, and they are going to be total inside sales account managers. We do have teams on here that are sales development reps that generate the pipeline, and then they take that and then give it to us. They pitch us the ball or the opportunity, and then we quarterback it and follow that into the sales cycle, however that long may be, anywhere from a month or two to 12 months to close that deal and get the purchase order in our hand from the customer.
Okay. All right, got it. Great. So that's excellent. That's helpful to kind of understand the makeup, and then it'll make sense when we get into walking through how you're using LevelEleven day to day. So I'm going to actually jump over to CB now and have a similar kind of set of questions for him, and then Dee will come back to you and kind of walk through LevelEleven and your day to day use of it. So CB. So all right. So you run a business development rep team. They're a threat stack, real high growth company. So kind of a VC back, like real high growth kind of setup. Tell us a little bit about your kind of career background and how you got to where you are today, and then from there we'll jump a little bit more specifically into the company and the team.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll try not to bore you with the play-by-play of my career, but basically starting off in telemarketing in high school, just getting used to that. Really early, I guess you can call it B to R, business to resident, as we were calling people in their homes at really ungodly hours of the day. So learning rejection very early in my career. Taking that through all the way to my first job out of college, where I did some life insurance. Also did some marketing companies that would have me pitch products wherever it might be, Home Depot, gas stations for car cleaners, whatever I get my hands on. I got my first strike at a tech startup BDR position in 2012 with a company called Mashery, which was an API management SaaS platform. And I think that's really where the career started to take shape for me, going from API management there as a BDR, becoming a team lead eventually, leading my outbound function there for lead generation, getting to AE to get a taste of what it's like to actually manage a sales cycle and close it out. And then finally settling in as a BDR leader, getting to Smashfly, my next startup, which was where I really started to take the BDR management on full time and learn how to grow a team, build out functions between inbound and outbound, and kind of maintain that relationship between sales and marketing, and when applicable, customer success. So, from that point, traveling from Smashfly to Upserve, which was a restaurant technology firm, and finally here at ThreatStack, where we do cybersecurity for the cloud environment, and managing a team here that's gotten to about 18 BDRs strong.
Okay, got it. Cool. So walk us through a little bit more about ThreatStack, what you guys do, and the total makeup of the sales team there at ThreatStack.
Yeah, for sure. So ThreatStack, in a nutshell, is a cloud security platform, and we're gonna, mainly monitor for internal and external threats that may occur in your environment, whether it's AWS or Google or Azure, and give you alerts in real time to let you know when something is not right, kind of given the who, what, when, and where of any sort of incident that might be rendered as malicious. So that's really where we play in the market of cybersecurity, like that monitoring front. And our sales team today is made up of 18 BDRs. We've also got a mix of ISRs as well, about 11 ISRs that are focused on closing deals, but also driving their own lead generation function to a degree. And right now, the way that we're set up is the BDRs, basically find the deals, do the account prospecting, get the foot in the door, so to speak. ISRs are responsible for everything from middle of the funnel to bottom of the funnel, so demos, and going all the way through to the end of the deal. And that's sort of been the strategy, so to speak, for ThreatStack sales team so far. Just a quick little plug: we have an announcement on April 3rd, so be sure to check it out when that day comes.
All right. Just April, did you say April 1st, 3rd?
Sorry, April 3rd. So Tuesday, April 3rd will be announcing something that will change the way that sec and ops teams, or security and operations teams, work together, and we're super pumped about it.
Excellent. I love the teaser. Those are always good. So all right. So that's good, great background. So I'm going to actually let's kind of loop back to D. And D, I pulled up LevelEleven here on the screen. So this is in the I think different people out there use different versions of Salesforce. This is the classic edition, but everything is also available in the new modern Salesforce Lightning experience, which many companies are moving to more quickly. But D, tell us about I guess first of all, what do you think is key to being a great sales manager, and then segue that into how you're using LevelEleven day to day.
Yeah, so I think for myself, the key to being a really great sales manager is giving your team transparency. They are very curious. As human beings, we are curious as to the why, and you've got to be as transparent as possible with them to let them know where you're at and where you stand and where the company stands as far as you know, because that'll get you buy-in. As long as people know the why as to why they have to do certain things, they're going to understand it better. Probably the other biggest thing is, be a champion for them. If you know somebody that has a strong suit in something, is, make sure you highlight that and utilize it to your advantage to make them a better person. As for what I utilize LevelEleven for, I was actually part of a pilot program here on the inside sales floor at HPE, and it started off pretty simple. We were given certain key performance indicating metrics, and I tailored mine specifically to the federal segment, because what works best in, say, small, medium business and commercial may not work out the best for my team. So it started out with the scorecards, and I can hands down tell you my team loves it a lot better than going and generating a bunch of different types of reports in Salesforce to get the same data that is right there on the left-hand side, and it gives them a target and a score, what they can strive to. The other thing they liked about it best, that really saw a huge increase in my KPIs, was I made one KPI as opportunities that had not been updated in the last 30 days. That took a dramatic drop, which I was very happy about.
So D, you took one of these metrics here and you made them opportunities that have not been touched
or updated
30 days?
Every 30 days.
Right. So it's like just sitting there, nothing. Okay, wow.
Yeah, no update to an opportunity, no call made. And it was so much easier because sometimes they may have 400, 500 opportunities in their pipeline to manage. This made life so much easier for them, and a lot easier for me to see on the chart where they were going and how we were trending. The contest part of it was also in there, And I didn't utilize it as much, only because it's a little difficult trying to get contests going on the sales floor with a larger organization like this. A lot of people to tie off with. So we actually have a team that just deals with that aspect of it. Probably
in terms of actually creating them for you?
Yeah, and getting them set up and getting everybody on the same page at the same day, at the same time. But it is great. We've got TVs all over the place that show Channel 11 whenever a contest is going on. As a manager, though, probably my favorite part about this is the coaching module that's in there, and used to be.
Let me actually. So I have the Channel 11 part up on the screen here. So this is what you mean. So you've got this up on your TVs around the office there.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. And do you use that for contests, or do you use things like this, like team goals and progress?
Usually throughout the day, team goals and who's made the most calls, but during contests, it's more geared to what kind of product we were pushing, or, for that particular contest, and who gets the most opportunities pushed through.
Okay, got it. All right, cool. So then, so coaching. So take us to that. So we've got, if we jump back to the manager scorecard here, which is probably more of what you look at every day. So, we've got the team member side of it. So tell us more about the coaching element.
So coaching, the old way of us being able to do one-on-ones, and this even goes back to my days of being in the military, the old ways were sitting there with your manager next to your desk, pen and paper, write it down, listen to sales calls sitting right next to them, and then hopefully somebody scanned and emailed it to you, or you put it in a file and hoped you remember it when it was time to do your midterm evaluations or your end-of-year evaluations. This makes life so much easier because, one, it's integrated already into Salesforce, which is, I live and breathe Salesforce at work. But two, I just need to pick the person. I need to create a note. I actually have custom coaching notes made, like I said, specifically to my segment, which makes more sense for me, how they're progressing. Whether as I can listen in on a customer call and comment on their, hey, you did really well, or hey, make sure you follow up with customer Joe Smith. Don't forget he asked about this, this, and this. Or just, hey, your Salesforce hygiene. I noticed you have opportunities that you're not being touched in 30 days is climbing. Let's address this, and then I'll give you an action item of 5 days, and then we'll come see where you're at.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you had mentioned you have some of your own templates. So you've got the one-on-one. But then you're also doing like a meeting feedback type of thing?
Correct. I can do that. I can do a call evaluation on them. I can do a Salesforce hygiene on them, and I can pretty much customize the template any way I want it.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, so we've got our whole coaching capability. You can create templates, and I have an example here on the screen, which this is totally customizable for any company. Say on a meeting. So here's a link to the meeting or the call recording. How was the overall rating? How was the opening? Did you establish upfront contract? Ask good questions, clear next steps. So whatever template, sounds like you created some other templates, and even one created the hygiene, which is always top of mind for folks.
Mm-hmm. So basically the pain point that it solved for me was organization and having everything in one place. When it's time to do those mid-year evaluations or end-of-year evaluations, I can just simply go right into on the left-hand side, look it up, and see if everything matches up with their performance and their evaluations.
Cool. Great. Well, really helpful. So CB, let's transition over to you. So again, Dee's got an inside quota-carrying sales team. You're managing more of a BDR team. Talk to us about how you and your BDRs are using LevelEleven every day.
Yeah, Bob, happy to. So essentially, it really anchors itself in two places. One is the big screen that we have in the office that measures all the contests and monthly and quarterly numbers that we aim for every month and every quarter. So starting there, we have all of our routine contests that are constantly displaying, just as you see in the screen right now. So how many points are amassed by each person, who's first place, second, third, fourth, fifth. It does a really nice job of keeping the BDRs, who naturally are a group of really competitive folks that are just looking to outperform each other, keeps them pretty amped up and driven about the day and the day's tasks. Aside from the contests that we run, we also have different trackers like the monthly tracker, that goes over the qualified ops, our discoveries every set on. Just giving the BDRs a really good idea of where things stand and where they need to put the sense of urgency. One chart in particular shows the pace that we're at currently from a line graph perspective, and the pace that you're supposed to be.
You're talking about the pacing curve, basically.
Yes. Sorry. So the pacing curve.
No, that's okay. Yeah.
Really useful stuff because from a managerial perspective, it just kind of gives you a gut check of, okay, we're trending in the right direction, we're trending alongside the pace, or maybe we're really not doing that well right now, and it kind of drives a little bit of behavior from us from a leadership perspective of, what can we do to throw up a spiff for the day that might change things around. So it's very good about keeping the pulse on where things are and making sure that you're not losing sight of the pace you need to be. From a different perspective, outside of contests and measuring monthlies and quarterlies, we also like to use the KPI part of LevelEleven. So essentially, we have our 4 main metrics, which are calls, emails, discoveries booked, and opportunities converted. And being able to put different weights on each particular one gives us an idea from a power ranking perspective how each of the reps are stacking up. So it's nice to see, like, okay, this is our first, second, and third, fourth place person. Then we have our second tier of 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and then 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, and just getting a sense of who's constantly in each tier. And that gives us a better insight into the why. So driving into, is it that they're consistently on their activity benchmarks? Is it that they're consistently hitting their ops, or is it because of discos? And just knowing where people stand and why they stand there is really great stuff for informing one-on-ones, and even at points making decisions around who might be right for the next step in their career, and driving those sort of discussions, like getting to ISR and things like that. So for us, it's really revolving around those 2 particular features. And I think from a different point, just really quickly, it's been a lot easier to use than I would have imagined. So it's not really hard to configure things like a contest, or even the goals that each BDR is going to have on a week-to-week basis. It's really user intuitive. So really good for someone like me that likes to set it and forget it more times than not. So helpful in that sense too.
Yeah, got it. All right, cool. Well, let me actually throw a couple questions to both of you. These are ones that came up in a recent webinar and typically get asked of our customers. So, Dee, why don't we start with you? So the number of KPIs. So a lot of times companies struggle with, they'll say, hey, my VP of sales, has got all kinds of numbers that she's thinking about, and says, hey, here's the 30 KPIs for our company. How do you approach that and figure out what that means for your team versus the overall organization?
Yeah, good question. 30 KPIs, that's a lot. We want to make sure that the reps are focusing on KPIs that are relevant to their accounts and their skill sets that's going to generate revenue, especially in being in a large company like HPE. When bringing on LevelEleven, I wouldn't say we came across 30 KPIs that we wanted to have. It was more so of about 12 to 16 KPIs, and we came to an agreement that said, hey, for all segments across the board here on inside sales, what we can do instead of 16 or 18 KPIs, we can do 4 primary and 4 secondary. And that's what LevelEleven, believe it or not, some of those KPIs are actually one and the same. So that made it a lot easier for us to show, hey, we've got these 4 primary ones that you feel are the most important to drive business, and then we've got these secondary ones that the reps can look at as well, and they may be more tailored to the particular segments.
Yeah, got it. Okay, all right. And then, so it makes sense. A lot of times, if you're maybe at the senior level, you say, hey, there are 30 things you need to keep an eye on, but you got to, when it comes to the day-to-day of the sales rep and the manager, you maybe kind of whittle that down. Here's the ones that are relevant to you, and then that's where LevelEleven kind of fits in.
Yeah, correct.
Good. So Stevie, next question, I'll throw this one to you, because I know you guys also, like HPE, are very active users of Salesforce, very committed to it. I mean, you had, I think, all kinds of reports and dashboards, and you can kind of build whatever you want. Where do you use a typical report or a dashboard versus LevelEleven, and how would you explain, when each is more relevant to the team?
Yeah, for sure. I like to use LevelEleven for the things that I consider to be evergreen critical. So, it's never not going to be important to know where you are with activities. So I'll use LevelEleven for that in terms of their view in Salesforce that comes up on, I believe their homepage as a side column. I'll use LevelEleven for things that don't necessarily require them to take action on, but something for them to be constantly aware of, whether it's for a motivational purpose or if it's for something that just gets the team going in some direction that I want them to go. Salesforce would be more for like if I want them to understand the state of something and they need to take an action on it. Like if they have MQLs that are not being touched for the day and they see it on a report, it's like, okay, go touch the MQLs. If they have accounts that are missing key fields, that shows up on a report that we have in one of our dashboards. And so I think I would look at it like Salesforce equals things I need you to take action on, and LevelEleven equals things I want you to be constantly aware of because it's always going to be critical no matter what part of the week, month, quarter that you're in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, got it. Dee, how about you? Anything different you'd share there?
No, not really. I mean, it's a great monitoring tool that it just makes my entire life as a people manager just so much easier. And I think the reps, once the more tenured ones got here, they made their life so much easier too. And I don't have to, I wouldn't say be on them as much, but it's more of a self-monitoring that they can do on their own.
Got it. Okay. Well, great. Well, thank you very much for your time, both of you. So, we've got all kinds of great success stories that are out there. A few of them right up here on the screen, but it's always really helpful to just kind of have a hands-on discussion with folks like D and CB here to really hear the day-to-day realities of managing a team and how LevelEleven fits into that. So, thank you both much for your time, and have a great rest of the month here.
You too, Bob. Have a great day.
Thanks, Bob. Take care.
All right, let me turn off the recording here. Okay.